and welcome to another episode of the Complete Agent Podcast, where we get together once a week and talk all things estate agency. My name is David Warburton. I'm joined by my Cockney colleague, James Kendall, and the man that if you closed your eyes, you would think that Tyson Fury was an estate agent. He sounds just like him. Don't you, mate?
Welcome.
There you go. Lads, how's your week been?
Go on, Storey. You go first.
Brilliant, really. Busy, lots of sales, new instructions. The diary is stacked for me and Phil with valuations, and we've been doing quite a few new shoots on new properties as well. So feels really good. We also saved, or Michelle, our sales progressor, saved a sale today that was looking a bit dicey, a 2-link sale, one at 1.2, one at 750, where the buyer was trying to renegotiate for a wall that needed rebuilding. Anyway, we managed to get them to not renegotiate, and that's going to exchange within 7 days. So Gosh. I thought that was going to fall out of the pipeline this week, but it's not. So, I mean, I have to say, generally, really very good across the board. I don't know about you two chaps.
Yeah, sales-wise, we're a bit light, but there's a lot it's kind of like, you know, when you put 10p's in a machine and then all of a sudden, like it tips over.
Yeah.
You have a little analogy, don't you, of mine?
Love it.
Just incredible every week.
We've got loads of 10p's going in at the moment. Well, pounds and properties. Anyway, and I think we'll have a really good month, hopefully. Instructions have been amazing. Valuations have been awesome as well. Like we've had, I think we booked on average four a day last week over the last 7 days, which is pretty good.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, no, to be honest, really pleased and yeah, really good.
It's probably the first week of the year where I've had a bit of I've been pissed off. I've been angry this week. There's a few things that have been going on with chains collapsing. We've had a couple of fallers, and I was saying to the team, I need to start counting to 10 because you know when you get a client that really annoys you with something that they do, and you're just like, what are they doing? What do they think they're doing? So I've had a few of those moments. But then actually, when I was looking at the review of the week, it's actually not been too bad. We had a couple of fallers, and then there was a dodgy chain, which a member of the team has done really well on and saved, and that exchanged today. So I'm really pleased about that. And we've done 5 take-ons this week. So I've got 5 new houses photographed and videoed this week. Doing another one tomorrow. And I've had 4 verbal instructions and 2 brilliant instructions as well sign up. So actually, you know, it's not been a bad week at all, really. It's just that there's 2 or 3 things that have really sort of tested us all, I think, this week. And it's sort of clouded it a little bit. But I would say, honestly, it's probably been the first challenging week of the year. Other than that, it's been very, very good and sort of echoing what you boys have been saying.
You've had a flyer, haven't you, so far, haven't you? So it's always to be expected. Sorry? I said you've had a flyer so far. I mean, like you think last week, all the things that you were basically listing last week, it's one of the things, isn't it? You have to have those low weeks sometimes to appreciate the high ones.
Yeah. I've got a question for you both. What would you do in this situation? So we've had a property at the minute where we sold it last year, then we actually sold it to someone who we had sold a £1.2 million one for. They were buying this barn off us at 700. We were actually buying it off us at 720. So a really good offer on it. All fell through before Christmas. The owner of the barn conversion said, we'll wait for them to resell the 1.21 because they'd got such a good offer on the barn. Taken ages for us to resell the 1.21. We've resold it and they've changed their mind about buying the barn. So the people at the barn were like, oh God, that's annoying. So just put ours back on, put theirs back on, got an offer on it pretty much straight away from the slowest buyer on the planet. Doesn't reply to emails or texts or WhatsApps. Absolute nightmare with getting proof of funds. It's taken 3 weeks to get what I wanted.
Bodes well.
I've now got it. Don't trust them. They're not going to renegotiate. They've sort of mentioned about the down val already. Just don't really trust them. You know, these buyers that are quiet, you never trust them, do you? Mm-hmm. And then today we've had another offer on the bank conversion from someone. Similar level, who's in a chain. What would you do?
Would either of them go and sign up to something like Gazelle reservation agreement?
Potentially.
So for that original buyer to give the sellers security at that sort of level, you know, if they would put £1,000 down commitment down towards Gazelle, then if they do pull out or they do piss around, then bosh, there you go. There's 10 grand for your seller. Yes, you've got to remarket again.
First buyer wouldn't do that. The slow buyer wouldn't do that. They won't do anything. The second buyer only offered to so.
That tells you everything I think you need to know then, in my opinion.
But they're chain free and they have committed. But they have committed now. They've sent everything over now. Instructed solicitors, instructed mortgage broker. They are actually officially buying it now.
Right.
Hard, isn't it?
Then in that case, I mean, obviously you've put the offer forward to the seller. They're there in the background. You can potentially keep them warm. Or what I think I would do in that situation personally is A, keep them warm, but B, you obviously got a great buyer. I'd be sending out buyer letters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That wasn't the answer.
Find them something else.
It wasn't the buyer. It wasn't. I was hoping you'd give me the golden ticket answer there, James.
Because what happens is when you send that buyer letter out now on behalf of that buyer for the barn, is that you'll get another instruction for another barn, and all will be well in the world.
All you do is sell barns, so
that's it.
I love a barn.
You do. You're always at them. Right, guys, should we get on to our topic for this week?
Yeah, topic and then Q&A afterwards, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. So, last week we talked about... What did we talk about last week? Can't quite remember.
We talked about the build-up to launching a property, didn't we?
That's correct, yeah. So, we did. We talked about the build-up, what we actually do on the day, etc. And this week we're going to talk about what follows. So actually launching the property to the market. So we'll talk through what we do, our processes, and hopefully it resonates with people out there. And as always, if you've got questions and you're remembering our group, throw them in there and we'd be more than happy to help. So where should we start, guys? Like I say, you've just been to the property, you've got your twilight, you've come home. Photographs have come through, your videos come through. What happens next? So I guess it's pre-launch strategy, isn't it? So
yeah,
I'm guessing we all have them.
Yeah. Which says you mean social media. So video, photos. I mean, there's different arms to social media pre-launches and pre-launches. In that, obviously, if you've got your hot buyers or VIP buyers or whatever it is you want to call them, they'll be getting the details, or sometimes on doing a viewing when you're taking the photos, like Rich did the other day for a house that he's just taken on. He got a couple round and they've got a house at 1.75 and they actually withdrew. They were on the market really quickly, actually withdrew last year because they couldn't find anywhere. And he put this nice place on and he rang them up and said, don't know if you guys are still thinking about moving, because I think I've put a house on that'll be perfect for you. And he took them round on the video shoot, and they were like, "Yeah, we really like it." And he's now put theirs back online this week. So but it looks great for the client when the client's there, because they're like, "Wow, they've brought a viewing round for my £1 million house, and it's not even on the market yet." And then obviously an instruction off the back of it. So that's always a nice little strategy. Pre-launch on social media. So again, we all do fairly similar things. Ian, you've started doing more reels now, haven't you, as well, and had some really good success with that. You could talk about that, but I just mean, so for us, we do the vertical reels, which is like the preview, and then we also do the presenter-led tour as well, which goes on socials before it goes on Rightmove.
I think the key is you should have a pre-launch strategy. I think when we're talking about sort of operating at the mid to high end and trying to command higher fees, it's another layer to your offering. I mean, obviously, in this mini-series, we've spoken about everything, haven't we? About how you look and where your leads come from, and what you do as a bare minimum, being consistent on every instruction, etc. And this is another layer to that, I think. When you actually launch, it's a proper plan. I mean, Ian, we'll come to you in a minute, because I think you can talk in depth about your particular selling plan that you present to every client and that you follow religiously. But having that in place, it's just different. Most agents, particularly those that are not charging a lot and are maybe taking photographs on their mobile phone and things like that, will just launch it as quick as they possibly can to Rightmove and Zoopla if they're on there, these other ones. Thinking that that's the best way forward. I think my view, our view, is that these things, particularly at the higher end, mid to higher end, they just can't be rushed. In fact, I'm saying mid to higher end, it's like we're always saying, it doesn't matter, does it? Across the board.
No.
You should never rush an instruction
Quality.
to market. Yeah, quality, absolutely. Make sure that everything's absolutely spot on. So to be honest, from the point that we have finished, like I've been to a Twilight shoot tonight, and I was speaking to the owner before I left, and he was sort of saying, what are the timescales now? And it's probably 10 to 14 days from this point. We're going to wait to get all the edited photographs back, a full edited video. We then need to get it copywritten. We need the design team to design the brochure. And then, we need to produce that in a PDF, get it printed. So there's a lot more that goes into it. So it takes a bit of time. But the actual pre-launch itself is important. So while all that's going on, you can be pre-launching and doing some soft marketing. So just before we come on to you, Ian, obviously, JK, you've just mentioned a few bits you do. I always do a preview reel. So we do a reel in the house, which is your portrait style, as you've said. I've seen, Ian, you've adopted something similar to, I know, what Tanya Baker does, who does them very, very well on Instagram and stuff, somebody filming you walking around the house and it's just music over the top. I think those are really good, and they're really good to gain your following. We do similar stuff, just get the preview reels out there, but they always go into all the local Facebook groups. So I drop them into my community groups on my personal page, and that invites a lot of intrigue. I never put the price on. I just put the preview reel on there, maybe give some highlights about the house, just bullet point some of the major things, whether it's a view, whether it's the number of bathrooms, bedrooms, that sort of thing. And it just invites intrigue. So I get a lot of people contacting me privately to say, could you give me a bit more information about the house? How much is it going to be? And often it'll be outside of their budget, or they're just being nosy, but it leads to other conversations, and you end up potentially booking valuations or having another buyer that you can do your buyer letters for, things like that. So it's really good for that sort of thing. And then in the same, a few days later, once we get the photos back, I often, again, soft launch a few of the photographs into the same groups. So you've had another touch point in all these community groups. And then eventually, like you said, JK, once you get the full video back, I like to put the whole video in as well. So that's almost like the 3-step pre-launch for me, as well as sending it all out to your email database. We've obviously got contacts ourselves around the country of agents. So if we think that there's a nice property that would suit somebody outside of the area, that kind of thing. So that's all before it goes on Rightmove and Zoopla. There's a pre-launch that we follow, can't even say it, too late. Pre-launch strategy for every instruction. So
what about the pre-launch as well? I was going to say, just before you move on, I was going to say there's just, it's really quick. And I did mention about getting a load of leads from it the other week, was pre-launch, where like it's great for Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So Instagram stories, Facebook stories, just 24-hour story, just literally a little bit of text saying coming soon, 4-bedroom detached home on 2 acres, guide price 1 million, and then another one, then whatever they are, like the different properties. And it's having that on your stories, and then also doing a little LinkedIn post saying coming soon, blah, blah, blah. You'd be amazed at how many leads you get for either people selling or potential buyer leads. And what's good about them, because if you do get those early leads that need to sell, A, you can create a valuation opportunity from it, but B, you can not only that, but you can bring them to the house early before you do the marketing and do the video. So you can bring them on. So then it just shows the seller that you're proactive, and also you get some buy-in from a potential home seller as well.
Yeah, it's definitely the way to do it, because I mean I've done 2 lives today, and I've done some soft launch into some various different Facebook groups, and I've had quite a few messages today. I've got one already who's contacted me for a really nice bungalow that we're selling. The budget, I'd not even told them the price, and she said, this is my budget and it fits this bungalow perfectly. She's chain free, she wants to go and see it, she's a cash buyer, so I rang my vendor and he's just like, this is amazing. And I've only been there today and done a live, and that's just gone out to our followers, people who are following us, waiting for stuff. So it's part of that, isn't it? Make sure you do your live at the house, but then after that, like I say, once we're out of there and you're starting to get your stuff back, you should have a pre-launch strategy. It's just another layer to your offering where it helps you command those higher fees as well. But Ian, I'll come to you, because you've got a very comprehensive selling guide, haven't you? That you not only goes out on your proposal, you use it for prospecting, but it's kind of your Bible, isn't it? Your Storey's Bible. That's what you run your business by. That's what everybody runs your business by, and everybody knows what they're doing. So do you want to go through your sort of launch strategy?
Yeah, so we launch all new properties on the same day each week. So we launch all of our new homes on a Wednesday night or a Thursday morning because when we wrote the plan, Thursday was the busiest day of the week on Rightmove. So I got this idea from our good friend Perry Power. So we launch same time each week, which is a really good differentiator on the valuation, way back on the valuation. But yeah, in terms of the launch, we launch everything either Wednesday night or Thursday morning. Sometimes it's Thursday morning because we've not got the video back or whatever the reason is. But always same time each week. Before that, we've just very recently started doing a presenter-led reel as well. So we used to do a reel portrait reel, like JK says, where we are walking around the house. But now we just do one where it's me or Phil or Vicky sometimes, depending on how busy we are on the day, where we're sort of beckoning people to come around the house. You see a few more of them now on social. And then Holly stitches it together, and it's much quicker for Holly to do than it used to be without the presenter, because it's much, much quicker now. You can just whiz all the way around the house, and they have increased our reach massively. So we now get so many comments now on our reels that we just didn't get before. So they're a massive, massive part of it now pre-launch. And I've literally just looked there, and we've got a barn, another barn. There is actually another barn.
No way.
Well, mate, welcome to the countryside. It's
Really?
brilliant.
Oh.
So another barn, 3,500 square feet barn, £1 million.
Sounds awful.
Lovely property. And we've had a comment on that today. It's not on Rightmove yet. And this girl, Sarah, has said, how much is it? Can I have more information? And they do work. They're really, really good.
Can we just pause just there a sec? Because just with the reels, they are really, really good. And like I say, you've just started doing that, and it's working really well for you. Obviously, you've got Holly. It sounds like that's putting them together for you. But like just to quickly on that, there's loads of great apps, and the majority of people listening to this, I'm sure, have downloaded some of the apps like CapCut. Was it iShot as well? I'm not sure. JK, you'll probably know better than me, but there's so many decent apps where you can put a reel together in like 10, 15 minutes. So there's no excuse for not doing them, really. It's just getting your phone out and taking the time to do it. And if you can invest in a gimbal, I think that would be a worthwhile investment as well.
Yeah. But we keep saying we've actually got a gimbal. We just keep forgetting to use it because for whatever reason. But yeah, gimbal will be better. But a presenter-led one is definitely what you should do rather than a non-presenter-led one, because it's another way to get your face out there on socials. And you can be a bit cheeky and a bit funny with them. Like one we were doing earlier on today has got a tennis court. So I was sort of, being a bit silly holding a tennis racket. You can just be a bit foolish on it where you probably can't on the actual property video. So they've been really, really powerful for us. What I think we could actually learn from you, Dave, is a bit more about your pre-launch strategy, because I think you probably have a more robust one than we do. I put it into local Facebook groups when I think about it, but other than doing the reel and maybe calling a couple of hot buyers if we know it's really the right one for them, we probably could be doing more than we do before it hits Rightmove.
Yeah, I think, again, it's just having that layer. I mean, we, in the valuation as well, I talk about having a pre-launch strategy. And I don't think I've come across anybody yet who's said, oh, yeah, such a body does that as well. Because they just don't. And even if they do, they're not actually talking about it. Because I do see some agents putting their properties into local Facebook groups and things like that, saying coming soon. So it's not like they're not doing it, all of them. And some of them are quite good, but they're not talking about it as part of their strategy.
That's a really interesting point, that. And just going back to a valuation that I did last night, which was a really nice house, he had us, Savills and Jackson Stops. Savills didn't turn up.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
great.
Mental. Jackson Stops are going on Friday. It went really well. And I talk people through the plan. And I said to this guy, and he was a dead sound guy, really, really nice guy, sold his business out, obviously for quite a lot of money, built this house, successful guy. And I said, do you mind if I just talk you through the plan? And he said, you know what, Ian, the fact that you've got one is all I need to know for now. He said, so let's see what Jackson Stops come with on Friday, and then we'll go from there. He said, but just the fact that you've got a plan is all I need to know for now. And I thought, wow, it's the first person who said that. It's really interesting.
We need to put this podcast out on Saturday now, just in case Jackson stops. Guys, are listening. So
they've got a plan.
If you're from Jackson stops, it was last Friday. You're too late. Okay, carry on, mate. Go on. What else have you got?
Well, I think you could probably take over there with pre-launch strategy, Dave. I think before Rightmove.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. It is a robust system for me. So I'm mainly the one that does it. To be honest, I send the stuff off to the team who deal with our social media daily, so they'll get the reel and post it. I'll sometimes just send a voice note across as well, saying, "Could you just mention this on this particular property, etc." But for me, there is a live at the house, not probably multiple lives as well. Obviously, at the moment, you can get your twilights in pretty much after the shoot, but as we now get into spring and summer, you're going to be going back quite late. So I'd be doing a live at the actual take on, where we're doing all the video and the photographs and floor plan, etc. But then when we're going back later on, what a great opportunity again to go live.
We did a live today, Dave, just to interrupt the shoot I did this afternoon. And it was you saying the other week that maybe do more lives actually at shoots. And we were waiting for the sun to come, the clouds, when you stood there thinking, fucking come on, and like for the right moment to get the sun on the front of the house. Yeah. And we were sort of waiting for the clouds to move. So I did a live there and I said, we're stood here in the garden, it's cloudy, we're waiting for the sun to come, just trying to time that perfect moment for the sun to come over there. And then I went in the house to do a quick whiz around. And as I looked outside, Scott, our photographer, was legging it up the drive because the sun had just come out. Brilliant. So I got that on the live. I thought, that is brilliant. For potential clients to see that is great.
I think the effort that you have to go to as well to get the perfect shot and the perfect marketing campaign, your vendors really appreciate it. I mean, we were there today at the second one. I've done 2 take-ons today. One was on the other brand, but on the higher end brand, we've been at a property for a good 5 or 6 hours today, and part of that was timing with them. But once you're actually in there and you're doing it, they just get it, and all of a sudden that 2% conversation, it doesn't exist, does it? It's just you go into such lengths to make sure you get everything perfect. We just get it, and I left quite late. I think I looked tired because it had been quite a long day. And it was a bit frustrating one because we thought the sun was going down at about 5 to 6, and I was still there at 6:45 thinking, "Oh my God, will you just hurry up? It's been such a long day." And normally, you see, you'd be going back when you might have a bite to eat, and then you might go back again at maybe 8, 9 o'clock. But it'd been a long day. But yeah, I just think all of this is part of your marketing mix. It's part of your process, and it's the reason that you can charge what you do, and get the instructions that you do.
JK, sorry, were you going to come in? Yeah, I was just going to say, just jogged my memory. Something that Rich did the other day, we really didn't utilise. I mean, it's a little bit of a sensitive sale, to be honest, but he's listed this bungalow that we've got on, it's about an acre plot, 900 grand. It's been stood empty for a year. I don't want to go into the reasons for too much why, but no one's died in it or anything, but it's been empty for a year. And we went out to obviously appraise it, and they said, "Look, we really want to use you guys. You've sold everything else in this area over a certain value." And Rich went out there and said, "Okay, cool. I need to come back and with a handyman." And literally went back with like handyman, underselling what the guy basically does everything. Like he does like the lawn cuts, the jet washing of the driveway. This guy's got like cleaners that work for him as well. So he's put together like a real package of I think it's like $8,000 to basically get it up to scratch, like painting, decorating, filling, sanding, all of this house. And I just thought, wouldn't that have been amazing to have like got that on a live or like taken a video of that just to see that like behind the scenes, because there's other agents went out to that and went, yeah, no, we'll just put it on the market. Like, literally turn up with a camera. And I'm like, what? Whereas Rich has spent the time to get contractors round, get it all together, and it will come to the market looking really good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you should. I think there's an opportunity at everyone, isn't there? I think you should document as much as you possibly can. If the team are setting up, team are cleaning up. We had a situation the other day where You know, a member of our team was hoovering the house just because there'd been bits moved around and there's still stuff left on the floor. And you just want that perfect shot. So they went and found the hoover from under the stairs and started hoovering up. So, you know, it's just those little things. And you've got to be careful, I suppose, putting that sort of stuff out on social media because you don't want to offend.
Very careful. But if it's the right client, they're fine.
Yeah, I know. But it's nice. The team have that mindset to make sure that the property's set up properly.
Really good.
So, yeah. So it does help. But yeah, just finishing off on pre-launch. So for me, like I say, as many lives as you possibly can. Every time that you're at the house and there's an opportunity to do it, particularly with twilights and things like you've just said there, JK. And then it's get the reel as quick as you can, get those into the local Facebook groups. There was a question on our private members group today about where to put them, wasn't there, from one of the guys. And I'm just a big fan of just get them everywhere. Get them everywhere you can. Doesn't matter. You can't have too much exposure. Obviously, if the property is relevant to a certain area, great, but just get them out there. Go on, JK, you got your hand up like a 5-year-old.
I was going to say, well, just so you know, I was going to say one of the really important things is, if you guys don't know this and you're listening already, is to post all of the reels natively. So
yes.
if you're going, I know I probably said this before, but again, big trick that a lot of people miss is they'll post. So, for example, on what I mean natively is it's a bit of a pain in the arse, but upload the reel to Facebook, then upload the reel to Instagram, upload the reel to YouTube Shorts. Now, one of the things that we're trying to do at the moment is keep it under 60 seconds as well, because that's a key thing for YouTube. And if you're using copyrighted music on places like TikTok, you can only have up to a minute. Anything over a minute, it blocks you. And even if you use anything like Epidemic Sound for songs and tracks, over a minute on TikTok, they block you, which I found out recently, which is really frustrating. But so yeah, upload to every platform natively, because each of the platforms wants to keep people on their platform. Putting it on Instagram and then posting a link onto it on Facebook or YouTube or vice versa is just going to kill the reach. So make sure you do it natively.
No, it's a great tip. Great tip. So yeah, launching the reels, and then, like I say, a bit of a soft launch with the photographs, then the full video, obviously to your email database and all that. So it's the same for us pretty much every time. I guess at the same time, just sort of sidestepping now back onto the normal launch, we are sending photographs. So Ian, I've taken your advice from the other week and brought the setup of the WhatsApp group earlier, straight after the valuation. I think that was a really great tip and I like it. Just think it gives that nice psychological edge for people. So I've started setting up a WhatsApp group straight after the valuation rather than waiting until it's been instructed. And as soon as I've got that Facebook reel, I'll pop it into the group. So right, this is the first part of the soft launch. It's going in all the local groups. As soon as we get some photographs, here's a few of the photographs, a few sneak peeks. Hope you like them. Once we get the full video, I'm sending those over to the clients as well. Because obviously, I don't think we need to go too much into kind of getting things signed off, do we? I think I would assume that everybody knows to get things signed off by people and all that sort of business is more about launching. Yeah, and then like I say, you're probably the same. Ours takes a bit longer, so we have then. Have we got it? Did we go into the copywriter thing and all that last week? We did, didn't we? Yeah. So
I was just going to say, I think we should assume that we've got everything ready for marketing, shouldn't we? And we're going on straight away. One thing and Aidan will corroborate this. One thing that I'm guilty of as a classic salesman is promising the client, maybe over-promising a bit, in terms of when we're going to launch. So I'm like Captain Keen when I want to get a property on the market, and I sort of wonder really if sometimes, or maybe moving forward, we need to be a bit more, firm with how long it's going to take. Because we've had a couple of examples where we've done viewings and we've not had the brochures back from the printers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've done that a lot, but that's normally the vendor pushing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Saying, when are we going live, and can we go live without the brochure and just use them afterwards? But it kind of dampens the effect when you're on the viewing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or you feel it does. You feel it does. It probably doesn't, but you feel
probably
it does.
Doesn't. But and also you want the brochures too because it's really good for the company, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. They do get amazing feedback. So for me then after that, it's the full launch really onto the portals. There's the odd property. I've got a good relationship with the local press lady, so she will feature our properties whenever I ask her to in the local newspaper. So that's quite a good thing, and I get that print advertising, certainly in the newspaper and things like that, is maybe not the thing at the moment, but again, it's another layer for the client. So yeah, it's nice to have that though, and again, you can send the link to your client. So again, I suppose, do you know what? Right, I will spend just 30 seconds on that. I was asked to if the local paper could feature one of our properties. I'm sure a lot of people have had this, but they asked me if they could feature one of my properties a few months ago, and I said, obviously, yeah, of course you can, no problem at all. And it went in the print version of the paper, and it obviously went on the local website of the paper, which was great. Loads of comments and great advertisement for us. But I went that one step further with her, and I said, would you be interested in getting a market update from myself? And she said yes. So I wrote her a market update, very similar to what we do, lads, for our not on the market letters. So a lot of data-driven analysis. And she ended up saying, would you like to do that for me every month? I said, yeah, of course I would. Absolutely. So I give her some commentary basically every month, and she puts my face in the paper, and it's nice advertising for us, which is good. So if you're not doing that,
face, she's your face.
What?
Using your face, or
I had to ask her to sort of
see if you could just get your name, mate. You might get some better results.
What's that?
See if you could just get your name in rather than your face, mate. You might get some better results.
I'm not trying to sell more papers.
Oh God, really? I shouldn't have brought that up. I really shouldn't have brought it up. So I just asked her to Photoshop Tom Cruise's face onto my body. That's been a good thing. But again, it's another layer. So we get a lot of our properties featured in the local newspaper, and then, but more importantly, on their actual web pages and Facebook pages. So that's really helpful as well. And then obviously, like I say, we've got the full launch to the likes of Rightmove, Zoopla, and our email database.
And
anything different from you, lad?
No. I think we're all pretty much on the same page there. So I know we're now going to discuss handling viewings and taking calls, or what's the agenda?
I feel like we're a bit unprepared this week, lads. For those listening, we decided to bring it forward a little bit because this week we are writing our quarterly not on the market letter. So we're getting together for a couple of days this week, and it would have clashed. So we decided to do it tonight, not realising that we're all extremely tired and talking absolute nonsense.
No, we're not talking nonsense at all.
No. But 5 minutes before we came on, we were. And I think it's just filtering through right now. We were all flagging. That's what I mean.
Well, I think that we've given some great value there already in terms of how we do our launch. Yeah. It's potentially another podcast, isn't it, where we talk about managing the client to make sure that they don't change agent, and to make sure that you get the price change eventually if you need one, a price feedback, all that sort of stuff. I think there's a couple of things that I could mention on launch that we've not mentioned already, which is that we, around the time we launch, probably just before we launch, we send all of the photographs to the client. So we don't watermark them, and we send all of them to the client so that they have them all. And I've had some agents in the past who wouldn't do that because they're worried about what the client will do with the photographs. But I think that's a brilliant thing to do. The clients absolutely love it, and they share it with all the friends and family.
And also, you can contract that so that they can't share it.
Yeah,
you can send like a cease and desist. You can send letters, can't you?
Yeah, but it's hardly ever going to happen anyway, is it? And it just looks really good. We also obviously send them a copy of the video. And one thing that we've slipped up on a couple of times recently, which we should probably change, is clients have listed things in the brochure, but then when it's come to negotiate the sale, they haven't realised that because they've listed it in the brochure, it's taken as read that it's included, such as the range cooker, things like that. Do you boys have like a process for, making the vendor aware of what they're putting in the brochure might be construed as contractual?
We've got a disclaimer at the bottom that basically says the description has been written for lifestyle purposes and it shouldn't be relied on, doesn't form any part of the contract.
We have that too, but I think I think we need to put something in place where we advise the client, that don't list it in the brochure if you're not going to include it in the sale.
Yeah, 100%.
You know.
But I'm always like, I always err on that side anyway, to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
If you're saying that you've got an integrated washing machine and integrated this and this is that, the assumption is that what you're, like you said, is what you're saying is staying. Like things like the log burn is a classic. Just, anyway, it is what it is.
I actually had a client the other day who made an offer on a property, and he was really trying. He thought he was playing hardball, and he was like, it was on the mid-range brand, and it was he'd offered 330 on 350, and I was going, it's got to be 350. So he wants the full asking price. He was like, well, all right, 335. I went, I know, but you're wasting your time. So you're wasting your time. And then eventually he came back. He went, right, I've had a chat. 350. She's got to leave all the carpets.
Brilliant.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, great.
So you can have good news. You can keep the carpets, but she's taking the grass. Could you imagine?
Yes.
Jeez. Yeah, so I've just realised that I've also, in our tired state this evening, missed out another part of the launch. One of the things that we introduced recently, and I know you do as well, Storey. I'm not sure whether you do as well, Dave, but when we launch a place, we send postcards out now. So we use Spectre AI, and we send it to the nearest 50 properties that are likely to move to this house. So that's another layer that we do, and that works.
We do that now as well. Aidan organises that for us, and we also do it at the other end where we've agreed a sale. One thing I think we could probably mention when we talk about the launch process is how you structure your viewings. So we launch on a Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, and then we hold off with no viewings for 10 days. So we do that on every property. We're then creating a day 10 days hence where we're going to do the viewings. Obviously, it doesn't always work perfectly, and sometimes people can't make a certain day, or you get a cash buyer that wants to go that coming weekend. And, there's always exceptions to the rule.
Scenario, then?
Say that again.
Well, what do you do in that scenario then? Cash buyer wants to go that weekend, and they can't get him on weekend. Yeah. We'll
get them in. We'll tell them that there's a viewing day booked, so they know that if they want to buy it, we need to be talking a good price for it.
Yeah, good.
Holding off and doing viewings 10 days later is another USP that we've got in our plan, which sets you apart from the competition. And to a degree, it makes it easier in the office because, the guys know that we're booking people in for Saturday morning the following week. And it's good for the client because they're not tidying up 4 or 5 times a week. So we always do that when we're booking in viewings. That's the initial viewings. And then we also do it moving forward with other viewings. We still try and book them together.
Yeah. I think we need to start doing that again. We actually adopted that as well. I know, obviously, you mentioned Perry earlier on, and it was part of that plan as well, wasn't it? I think originally.
It was correct. Right?
Yeah,
that's where I got it from. Yeah,
yeah, because at one point we were doing it, and then it's just when the market went bonkers, you were almost at a point where you had to get your diary was filling up within 2 or 3 days, so it gone, hadn't it? And I think we need to get back to that because I think we're kind of in that market again where you do need to probably you could delay things. And...
I mean, we've always done it. We've always delayed them. We've since the first, since the start of the company. We've always done that as per what I've learned off Perry. So we've always done it, and it's still a USP. And what I found was during the COVID years, other agents were doing it because they were so busy, they had no choice but to do that.
Yeah.
But now they've all slipped, just like they all started to the offers over as well. And that's changed again now. And it's all slipped back now. And now they're all doing the old fashioned way, which is exactly what always happens. So it's still a differentiator for us now. It's a really good differentiator. And you get into a conversation with a client quite often, Laval, about it. They'll say, I've read the plan and, why do you block them together? Surely you're going to lose people if you make them wait 10 days. And it's just a great opportunity to talk about why you do it,
Yeah, and it is good. Again, it's another layer, isn't it, to what you're offering? And to say, it gives us a chance for plenty of people to see it on Rightmove and Zoopla. It gives it the social media advert a good week to run. So it gives every angle, every marketing, every part of the marketing mix to reach its full potential.
Yeah, plus, that a listing, someone once said a listing either flies or flops. So, you don't know when you put it on if you're going to get 10 viewing inquiries or none or 1 or 2, really, do you? So by giving it 10 days, you for most properties, you're going to have more than 1 viewing on that day then if you give it that time, because some take 10 days, don't they, to get the interest or longer.
Yeah.
Some happen immediately.
JK, just going back to your point, I think it was great. I can't believe we missed that. But I think when you do launch a property, it's really important that you do send out postcards or letters to the nearest 50 houses, or using the AI software if you've got it, if you subscribe to any of these different providers like Home Search, Spectre, etc. But I think that's a really good point. We do that for instruction, sale agreed, exchange and completion. So there's like 4 layers there. It's
Nice.
It's part of the marketing mix, which we probably discussed in another pod, to be fair. But I think as part of your launch, mate, I think that's a really valid point.
Can I just say on the onboarding process as well, like one of the things, and I'm not being paid commission by Heather at Street, but the new update to Street that came out last week, like literally it just reminded me, I absolutely love this about Street now. So I've set it up so that our clients use the app now when we push them to use the app more now. So when they're onboarding, they're uploading their IDs natively to the app, and that then goes through Landmark for their AML automatically. It takes them through a process on the app, and then when that's done, they then get, because I did the PIQ as well, I enabled the PIQ question, and now they get the PIQ to fill in afterwards. We've just listed the 2 houses, and bosh, that you can't see this on the podcast here, but because it'll be audio, but I'm literally showing the screen where one of our clients has submitted the property information questionnaire. It feeds straight into the app, and obviously if you use the Street app when you're doing a video, this isn't the Street podcast, but when you're doing viewings, all of the information is then in the app. How old the house is, how old the boiler is, what council tax band it is. I mean, that's in there anyway, but like, it's just brilliant. I love that. And that's just, it really, what's great about it is, from our point of view, is it's less work and less admin. It's automatically fed into the system. It's easy, but from a client's point of view, you're really bringing that, and I'm not using the word purple bricks, but one of the things that Purple Bricks excels in is the technology part of the experience for clients, in terms of they've been able to handle their sale and deal with it online. And that is one of the things that I think Street are doing, in that they're kind of building and layering that technology and enabling your average agent, your independent agent, access to that technology so clients can have that experience.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It is. I need to catch up on that. I'm a Street user, and I do need to catch up on the latest update.
I'll show you.
I noticed. Yeah, that's great, mate. I think the PIQ though is definitely a great addition to that. We do it by same way as most people do, most likely a separate form that gets emailed back. But having it integrated now is just phenomenal. So that's great. Okay, so we've launched to Rightmove Zoopla. You've got your delay, Ian, that I do like. It's something I might transition back to, I think.
Same.
Yeah, I do like that, and as part of the 16-step plan that you have, which is brilliant. What else have we got, guys? Is there anything else that we need to discuss there?
One thing I'll just say, chaps, on that delayed launch strategy, which has sort of been quite challenging sometimes, is when you've got, say, 5 properties to launch on a Wednesday night, Thursday morning, that then means, or that can mean, you've got 5 lots of block viewings to do 10 days later. So a couple of times it's caught us up that, because we've not got enough team to do them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just sort of have one eye on that as well, because it's something we're constantly managing, is that.
Yeah.
Nice problem.
Of course.
Okay, so we briefly touched on then sort of vendor management and stuff. We're 45 minutes in now, guys. We've still got to do the Q&A
for next week.
I think vendor management and vendor retention is
a big
probably
podcast.
It's a big pod, that. Yeah, there's that among and a few other things. So I think we can cover that in another pod. But I think we've covered most of the points on the launch strategy, haven't we? Yeah. So unless anybody else has got anything to add, I think we can move on to Q&A. Right.
Okay, so on to the Q&A then. So Dave Gibbons has asked, when doing the videos, do you have a standard set of targets you want to achieve? Things you want to try and say, areas of property to stand in, how much you're on camera, and the length of the video? What's the perfect A to Z or roadmap for the perfect video?
Do you want to go first, Ian?
I've been asked that question quite a lot over the last few years, and we don't have any script at all. And I suppose if we do have any sort of structure to it, it's that we don't want to speak too many times. So we always try and speak 4 to 5 times. So what I mean by that is speaking to camera. So there might be like an overlay of voice on other bits of the video, but in terms of speaking to camera, maximum 4 or 5 times. Otherwise, it's too much about me and not enough about the house. And it should be probably 30%, 30% you speaking, 70, 80% shots of the house. So we always think we've got an intro, which is 1, and we've got an outro, which is 2, and then you've sort of got 2 or 3 in between the bigger rooms normally, so that you don't make it look too small. So we do a standard intro, welcome to, you two love, and we do the standard outro, which is thank you. That was a brief glimpse at call the office for more information sort of thing. And then in between, we're doing 2 or 3 more speaking bits to camera. We always try and use a drone now where possible. But again, you've really got to be careful that it's not too cheesy. Like I was speaking to our videographer today, and he was saying how many people are doing this thing where they're walking up down the driveway speeded up. It just looks a bit
like a Lego man.
Yeah, it looks a bit daft. So I suppose we don't have a script. I tend to try and know a few key facts, although I'm normally calling Aidan on the shoot, asking him how many acres it's got. And then I've got that in my head. So what the square footage is, if it's decent, what the acreage is, if it's decent. And then we also try and build in a bit of local community stuff. So we either start off outside the coffee shop, or we finish off going into the local pub or that sort of thing. But we don't have a script, and I hope that helps answer your question a little bit, Dave.
I'll structure. Go on. You go. You talk. You love to talk.
Yeah. So from my point of view, I try and get into the sexiest bit of the house first, as quick as we can. So I'll always kind of have that intro, because I think in that first 5 to 10 seconds, you need to really engage your person who's watching it. So if it's a view, then you want to get your drone up, flying around the area, showing the views that the house benefits from. And then I like the presenter-led bit to be kind of like you just said, Ian, welcome to, and then a little bit about the area. So it might be it's a great family area, this close to the local school, whatever that might be, name it if you can. And the house I've got to show you is this 4 or 5 bedroom detached property behind me. It's been massively extended. Spans over 3,500 square feet, and this finish is absolutely amazing. Let's go and take a look, and then get inside in the first sort of 20 seconds. But then once you're inside, try and speed ramp it into one of the best rooms. So like today, the house I went to was really nice and impressive from the outside. It's a little bit dated on the inside, but the kitchen, diner, lounge, where it's all been extended, we wanted to get to that straight away, so it's kind of speed ramped, so I was in there next. So that's one tip I'd give: make your first 5 to 10 seconds really engaging, so it grabs your audience's attention. I tend to agree with Ian, not too much of you, but I also feel that on video you're trying to get across your brand and your personality, and certainly vendors will love that, and they will tell people about you. And also, no one can copy you. You can get good videographers and you can get people doing the same style of video, but they can't copy you as an individual. So I think if you've got a good personality, Dave, you've asked the question, and I think actually you're excellent on camera. And I think if you're quite bubbly and confident on camera, I think it comes across really well. Shout out to Lydia, by the way. Remember, she posted her first video in the group last week, and I thought it was excellent. So well done, Lydia. And thanks for sharing that with everybody. So I think everybody can do it. Everybody can create their own styles. And like Ian, I tend not to script. I'd like to do it off the cuff and just do it as if I'm talking to a viewer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same with me, really. Our format is outside the front of the house. I think, as you just alluded to there, Dave, like I've asked our videographer basically to, before the video starts, it's like, bam, 1-2 seconds, best part, 1-2 second, best, like 3 clips of like the best parts of the house, just so it immediately grabs people's attention. And then it's the presenter at the front. So welcome to ABC. Can't wait to show you inside. Let's go and take a look. Get in there in 5 seconds, because we used to do a lot of video where we'd try and get everything in. So we'd stand out the front and go, welcome to this, not that we'd say this, but along the lines of, welcome to this incredible house. It's so good because it's got 3 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms and blah, 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 blah. No one cares. Like, they're just like, show us the house.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy. When you're earlier on, it's definitely easy, isn't it, to slip into like being an estate agent without wanting to, you know what I mean?
Like,
how you doing?
To present this immaculately presented 3-bedroom
set. And it's just too much, isn't it?
Instructions.
I also think, JK, that this is another good way of differentiating yourself, because those that are doing video are talking too much about, they're just talking too much, and it's too much about them. Yeah.
And the thing is, as well, though, I think a lot of people don't know what they don't know. Like, they're fair play for getting on camera. Because that's the other thing as well. Video needs to be agent and property. The reels can be fun and be less about the agent and be more about the house, but you need to get in front of the camera and you need to convey your authority, which is, I think, a good part of it. And
definitely
advertise you as well as the house.
So, definitely.
You've got to do presenter led. Sarah has asked if there's any tricks to the hashtags and the algorithm. The short answer to that is yes. I use it on Instagram, and on Facebook and on TikTok. So if you've got a property, for example, that is Victorian, I'd use hashtag Victorian. If you've got a Victorian renovation, it sounds really obvious saying this, but hashtag Victorian renovation. Same with like YouTube videos as well. Think about the keywords that people are going to be searching, because, YouTube isn't just a platform anymore for people to just look at videos. And that sounds really stupid saying that, because that's what people do on YouTube. But people use YouTube as a Google. And so they'll look at things like, they'll go in their UK house tours, or, you just don't know. We're some of the videos we put up on YouTube a year ago have jumped up from having 500 views from when it was live on Rightmove to having 30-odd thousand views, where people have...
Amazing.
We've changed up the key tags.
Do you use hashtags in your YouTube videos then?
Not necessarily
in your description?
YouTube videos. Then we just think about the description. Yeah, we think about the description. But one of the big game changers for us that's got us more views on YouTube is the thumbnails. So what we've been doing is we created a template in Canva. And what we do now is, if you go on our YouTube channel, you'll see that all of our properties that we have on YouTube have the price and a front shot of the house, or a nice shot of the house, and a small little bit underneath it. And we've just found, since doing that, the engagement's gone up and the views have gone up exponentially. Yeah,
we started doing that since you said it.
Just add a bit more thought behind it, really. That's what I would say, Sarah, to kind of answer your question. Is there anything else? Tim Catney asked the same question. Can you advise what's working and share a good example? So we'll share a example, but I mean, you can always look at either of our pages, Tim. If you check out Dave's 2 pages, you've got We Locate and Burton James. There's always videos floating around on there. Obviously, Ian Stories. Mine's the most original named estate agents in the UK, James Kendall Estate Agents. So if you check either of our social media channels, you'll see, you literally be able to see a video straight away. So hopefully that should help, and we've covered a lot there. We've got Jack, who's asked about 3 key questions to ask for a potential vendor and an agenda on a market appraisal. I think he probably means, what questions would you ask a seller? I think rather than, there's I don't know if you ever heard that episode of the World Class Agency podcast. Shout out to you guys. $1 Million Agent, in Australia, and Tom Panos, or John McGrath actually, is not Tom Panos. John McGrath trains all of his agents to use a 6-step agenda. So talk about the price, talk about the marketing, talk about the fees, at 1 to 6. And I think, I used to use that, but I just found that it became a little bit too structured, a little bit too rigid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so one of the things I learned from Perry early on, which was I think he got it off from Josh Fegan, is what, why, when, where, how, which is what are you looking to achieve? What, why is it me you've called in? When are you looking to move? Where are you looking to move to? And then you do the tour of the house and you sit down and you go through how, which is your plan.
Yeah.
And I used to follow it kind of rigidly. I think I probably do that now, but without just following it rigidly. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
less structured. So I think you always have to ascertain, and I think it's always about the person, not the property. You know,
Yes.
you've got to get that across to people. And I think if you've walked out of that appointment and you felt like you've talked a lot, then I think you probably stand a good chance of not winning it. I think you probably need to think, you know, how much information they've given you and what they've said ultimately will dictate how well that appointment went. Because I just think, you know, like anything, it's all down to information. And I think if you can get the information gap right and people understand that you're interested in them and their needs and what they want, then I think that's, ultimately what's going to stand you in good stead. So just ask, I would just say keep it simple. Ask simple questions, you know, why are you here? What are they doing? Where are they going? And then just elaborate from there. And I just think one of the things I would say, sorry guys, just on the mid to high end, and I know we've kind of touched on this before, but when you're doing evaluation at the mid to high end, it is less about what football team they support, where their kids went to school, what cat they've got, what dog they've got, Dave. Hashtag Ethel, RIP. Sorry, they don't care. They don't care. They want to know you're the best person for the job. And by asking the right questions and demonstrating what you can do for them, that ultimately is what I would recommend. Next question is... Sorry, go on.
JK, I'd just challenge you slightly on that last comment. I think what I tend to find, I mean, this is being very stereotypical, but I do tend to find that the man is more at the higher end, and the lady still does want like talking with the kids in the school and.
Well, I think they like you. You know, you want people to like you. Of course, you do. Like, you know, they're going to be in a relationship with you for the best part of 6 to 9 months potentially. So, you know, you've got to get on, and you know, they've got to be your kind of people, and you've got to be with their kind of people, if that makes sense to a degree. But the point I was getting at is it's at the higher end. It's more about how well you can do the job, whether they like you. Whereas,
yes, it's different.
If you're selling Joe Bloggs' 3-bed semi, like, Ian supports Man United as well. You know, he was a good guy.
Yeah, you can spend too much time on rapport, as I alluded to the other week. But I think you do. I do agree. You've still got to get into the detail. I mean, I think we all do the same sort of thing, don't we? You go in and understand the circumstances before you have the whip round of the house. So
yeah,
I do think it's important to build a relationship and ask key questions. And obviously you've just mentioned that there. So that should hopefully help.
Tell them valuation is subjective and then move on. The next question is...
it is subjective, all right?
And there's only 3 things an agent can control. Tom McGee has asked a question and said, I've got a question about staging properties. I think it's a good question, this is. Essentially, how do you start doing it? Did you initially outsource? I know Ian Storey has a team member that does this. Did you send them on any specific training, or did they just have a good visual eye?
Well, we originally, Tom, I think, did I say this on the Facebook post today? I can't remember now, but originally I did it all myself. So while I was selling cheaper houses in my previous business, I always had a good eye for it, making sure the lights were on, the doors were open, and the cars were off the drive, and things were in line and neat and stuff. And then in Storey, we took it to the next level. But really, it was me doing it initially. I did it all. I was running around like a blue horse fly on all the shoots, making sure that everything was as it should be. And then as we grew and we brought Aidan in, Aidan did it, and he became, well, still is my right-hand man, but he became, the right-hand man on the shoots. And then as things have progressed, it's become Vicky. And now Vicky really is our queen of home styling. And it works really well. But I don't think... I mean, I'm sure there are training courses you can send people on, but as long as you've got a keen eye for it, I don't think you really need to overthink it, Tom. I think you should start by you doing it and build it from there.
Tom, I'm the same. So we have somebody in-house that actually does it. For me, when I go out and do valuations, that and videography are the 2 most important things that I like to get across. And I would say, honestly, that the home styling appointment side of it, the home styling part of it, is probably one of the best received things that we talk about. I think a lot of homeowners aren't aware that estate agents are prepared to offer this service. And particularly when it comes to the actual day itself, when they see the level of work that actually goes into setting up and preparing a property, because our home stylists will go out and have an initial pre-home styling meeting. So they'll meet the owners before anybody else, go and have a look at the house and see what needs to be done. So they'll give tips on what they need to do in terms of declutter and things like that. And then we have a cupboard full of props that we've collected over time. And we'll also buy new stuff and take things on the day, by the way, like pastries and fresh flowers and things like that, which is always a nice touch, so you can leave things behind. But I would go as far as say, particularly if you're going to be I keep saying this, and then I know you'll shoot me down, and you're absolutely right, but I keep saying if you're in the mid to higher end market, I think in particular, you definitely need to be offering this service. But we actually do it as well on our normal Resi brand. So we have a home stylist who will go out and still have this appointment. And it's just another layer and does help you get these higher fees. But equally, it just makes every single house that you put on stand out. And I don't think you necessarily need to employ someone. If you're struggling for staff, you can outsource this. But I think you can learn how to do it. You know what you're looking for. And then for me, the key is once you've got somebody doing it, you need to make sure that the whole team buy into it and do the same thing on every single house. Mm-hmm. And you should have a really meticulous, keen eye. So I think little things for me, like, loose wires, coats on the back of doors. You see it so many times with other estate agents, and I hate it.
We have a couple of things that I'm known for in the team, and the clients we always remark on. They mention it on valuations now. When you go out, they know that we're the agent who doesn't have toilet rolls out. I hate having toilet rolls, like used toilet rolls hanging off the bloody thing.
Used toilet rolls?
No, well, not used toilet rolls.
I was going to say, what kind of houses are you selling?
No, I came across wrong. I mean, part, unravelled. What? Do you know what I'm saying? A toilet roll stuck on a thing that's been half used. I also don't like having shampoo bottles and... Do you know what I mean? There's certain things that should never be in a photograph, and if you make it just exactly what you do on every single shoot, you get a reputation for it in a positive way.
Attention to detail, isn't it? That's ultimately what it boils down to.
But just dead quick, Tom, for structuring that. I think Ian's the same. We have a pre-list appointment, so somebody goes in and has a pre-home staging appointment. Our end, we follow that up, so she'll send an email to them about what was discussed, giving advice and tips, and we give like a sheet showing how rooms should look. And then on the day, they usually turn up 1 to 2 hours before, depending on the size of house and what's been agreed, and they'll get it all set up. And then when the photographers arrive, it's just all laid out and it's ready. So, honestly, I genuinely think it's probably one of the most important things you can offer as a estate agent. I really, really do. And it's a massive differentiator.
Cool. I think that's it for Q&A this week. I think we've covered that all off nicely. It's late in the evening.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, boys, but I am very tired tonight, I must admit. It probably came across in the pod. Bit of giggling every now and again.
Well, I think what we need to just make it clear is that we are committing to doing this every week. So the fact that we recorded it at night because we're busy on a normal day just shows how committed we are to doing it every week.
Yeah, consistency.
Just to finish, we are writing our Not on the Market letter this week. The three of us are meeting up on Thursday and Friday, and we're going to be putting together all the content. So that's for our members.
Dave, don't skirt over that, because we had someone last week who we know that didn't know that we offer a members only group where we paid service where we share all of our content that gets us into the nice homes, and also the private group. And we've got our first in-person mastermind in Birmingham happening in June, postcode exclusivity basis. So we love giving our advice, and we'll continue to do that. But just to make it clear, if you did want to take it further, get in touch. We can help.
And we can give you the tools you need.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the letter that we're going to be putting together is our quarter letter that goes out to probably between us, best part of 20,000 homes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it gets some amazing results for us and for our clients. Really pleased to see Steve Carroll having some brilliant results this week. So thanks for sharing that, Steve. So it's just great. And I'm looking forward to getting together, boys, because it's always good fun. And we'll be able to get a really good letter put together, I'm sure. I need to do an on the market one as well. We're due another on the market letter, so I'm looking forward to getting that together. Okay. As always, the Q&A, if you do want to fire any questions into the group, please do, and we'll do our best to answer them each week. For now, thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you again soon.
Yep, see you next week.
Cheers, bye.